Hey, 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 it's your girl Talia, and welcome to Talia Space, y'all. Welcome to the Look Good, Feel Good podcast, where we gonna talk about everything. You feel me? We gonna laugh, we gonna cry, and most of all, we gonna love on each other, y'all. Let's talk. What's up, everybody? I'm so glad that you guys decided to click on my channel tonight. I want to thank everybody. I always do this, but I want to thank all of my subscribers. I want to thank everybody that watch my podcast, and I thank you for the feedback and the comments because I love what I do. So I want you guys to go ahead and go get your wine, go get your Kool-Aid, go get your water, whatever you're gonna drink tonight. Go ahead and get that beverage because we gonna talk down tonight, y'all. Okay. On the last podcast, I talked about manifestation, and I wanted to do that again. I was gonna talk about something else, love and marriage part two, but we're gonna do manifestation part two, and I'm gonna title this, "Don't let what you see hinder what you believe." Um, I got that title from my mother-in-law. She preached this message years ago about not letting what you see hinder what you believe. On the last podcast, again, I talked about manifestation, speaking stuff, putting stuff out there in the atmosphere. But on tonight, I still want to cover that, but I want you guys to understand that sometimes when we start speaking stuff out loud, sometimes we don't start seeing it manifesting. We don't start seeing what we're saying right off the back. And then not only that, stuff starts happening. Okay. Everything that you put out there in the atmosphere, stuff starts happening with what you're putting out there. Okay. So it will cause you to have doubt and disbelief. But I'm telling you, I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it seemed to be. Just believe in whatever that you're speaking that is going to manifest and it's going to come true because I am a believer and that it will come true if you just see it through. If you have faith to believe and you keep doing whatever it is that you're doing, you keep speaking it, keep throwing those affirmations out there, I promise you you'll start seeing it um before the year is out. You know what I'm saying? Just believe in what you're saying. Speak it every day. Make sure that you're doing it. I do mine almost 4 times a day. Anytime I think about it, I start speaking it out there in the atmosphere. Since the last podcast that I've done, so many things have happened in my life. I started, speaking stuff out there in the atmosphere. And one thing that I always speak out in the atmosphere is the health of my siblings, of my children, of my husband, of my mom. Just making sure that we're covered when it comes to health. And I kid you not, um, the last time I did this podcast, a couple of days later, I got a phone call that my brother was in the hospital, that he had suffered from a stroke, and that the doctor said that he has a brain aneurysm and blood on his brain, and they had to go in and do all these type of different things or whatever. But let me tell you something. When you have a praying family, when you have a family that believes in speaking things out there in the atmosphere and believing them, when you have that type of family, I'm telling you, there's so many things that can happen when you have somebody that believes in speaking those things with you, when you all get on one accord. Okay. The Bible says when two or three are gathered in his name. You understand what I'm saying? So me and my family, we heard the news. Of course, when you first hear news, it hits you and it hits you hard. And you wondering, why are you putting things out there in the atmosphere? Why would I put stuff out there in the atmosphere if it's not going to come to pass, or if I'm putting it out there and as soon as I put it out there, something happens to make me doubt what I'm saying, to make me doubt what I'm doing. So my brother is in the hospital. When we first get the call, um, we start praying. You know what I'm saying? And then I started writing things down that I wanted to see happen. My mom started writing things down. She gave an expiration date on it. She said 3 days. This is what I want to see. I want to hear positive outcome. Guys, my brother was in the hospital. He had all kind of tubes down his throat. He was not able to speak or anything like that. And they was basically saying this is how he was going to be for like a month or so. Not so. We start speaking things out there in the atmosphere that the tubes would come out of his throat, that the blood would dry up off of his brain. And I'm telling you, when we start putting that out in the atmosphere, my mom gave it 3 days. When she prayed, when we prayed and we came together, not 3 days, the next day, I'm telling you, the next day, we got a phone call that he was alert, that they was removing the tubes from out of his mouth, that the blood had dried up off of his brain. Listen, I'm telling you, there is power in whatever it is that you're speaking. You just have to believe it. You can't have wavering faith this year. You have to make sure that your faith is up to par, because I'm telling you, you're going to be tested. The enemy hears you. You're going to be tested. When you start putting things out there in the atmosphere, when you start believing those things that you're putting out there in the atmosphere, you are going to be tested to see if you actually believe that this is going to happen. You're going to be put to the test. I'm telling you, do not let what you see hinder what you believe. I saw pictures of him in the bed with the tubes down his throat. I could have let that deter me from what I was speaking and what I believed that was going to happen in his life. But it didn't. So after that, we go and we see him. We went and saw him this past weekend, and now he's talking. He was nonverbal at first. Now he's talking. And he's ministering. And people think that he's out of his head, but he's not. He is saying whatever it is that the Lord is telling him to say. He's speaking things out there in the atmosphere. He's doing things that the doctors and the nurses are saying that people that have went through what he went through should not be doing. Then they said that he was born with it. They're saying people are not supposed to recover as fast as he's recovering. I'm telling you about the power of manifestation. Get with some people that is going to be able to help you believe and help you speak things out there in the atmosphere. We surround ourselves with so many people that do not believe the same thing that we believe. We have friends and family members that we're telling things to. Be careful who you tell things to, because not everybody is on that same level as you. Not everybody is going to believe the way that you believe. You putting things out there and they're snatching them back. So be careful who you allow in your circle, who you're telling things to, because not everybody have the same strength as you. Not everybody is on the same page as you. When I sat there and I looked at my brother in that hospital, I told him, I said, you know what? You know you coming out of this, right? They're saying that he has to have another surgery. We're saying that he's not going to have another surgery. We don't care what the doctor says. We don't care what the report is. That's not the report that we're going with. That's not what we're believing. That's not what we're throwing out there in the atmosphere. When we come together and we speak things out there in the atmosphere, that he will be healed, that he won't have to go through surgery, that he won't have another brain aneurysm, that whatever it caused this, it won't happen again, that this ends with him. It won't go to his bloodline. I'm telling you, start speaking things in the atmosphere. Start speaking things over your children and over your spouses, over your family members. I'm telling you, speak these things in the atmosphere and get around some people that believe. One thing that I cannot stand is being around people that don't believe the same thing that I believe. Being around people that are negative and that's going to persuade me to somehow doubt what I believe. Get with people that are going to believe the same thing that you are believing. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what the doctor says. I don't care if they come back with a negative report. Guess what? Every time they do, we switch it around and we say, no, that's not so. This is what is going to happen. Do you know that you have control over what happens? God said that He's given us the same power to lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. And even when I feel myself doubting, I say, God, help my unbelief. If there's anything in me that doubts who you are, that doubts what you're going to do, then I need you to come in and help my unbelief. Because yes, sometimes I get weak. Yes, sometimes when I don't see it lining up, I want to stop, but you cannot stop. You got to keep putting that stuff out there in the atmosphere. You got to keep knocking down those giants. I don't care how many times it comes up. You have to begin to open up your mouth and start speaking over your situation. And I guarantee you that it will line up with what you're saying out of your mouth. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Blessings and curses can come out of the same mouth. So that's why you have to watch what you say. When I went in that room, I spoke life to him. Stop going around. If you are one of those people who are not able to control your emotions, who are not able to speak stuff out there in the atmosphere, who's not a believer, I'm saying you don't believe in people being healed. You believe in everything that the doctor says. Yes, the doctor is here for a reason. I'm not telling you not to go to the doctor. I'm telling you that everything that they put on you, you don't have to take. I'm telling you that they're telling me or telling us that my brother may lose his memory. We're saying that he's not going to lose his memory. We're saying that when he come out of there, he's going to be sharper than what he was when he went in. What are you saying on a daily basis? What are you putting out there? Are you letting what you see hinder what you believe? Because it is so easy to do. It's easy for me to sit here and say, I believe, or I know that this is going to happen. I believe that this is going to happen. I have the faith the size of a mustard seed, because that's all you need. So it's easy to say, but then when life start lifing, when life start hitting, we get weak. Our flesh get weak. Our spirit get weak. That's why you need somebody else to come in and say, hey, whatever you believe in, I'm believing it with you. If you says that he's going to come out of this, I'm believing that with you. If you're saying that he's never going to have this issue again, I'm believing it with you. You can't tell me that manifestation doesn't work, because I know for a fact it does. If you go back and watch my last podcast, I gave prime examples that I knew for a fact that the power of manifestation works. You just have to begin to open up your mouth and begin to speak over whatever it is that's going wrong in your life. Whatever it is that you want to see change happen in your life. Get in a safe place. Get around safe people where you feel safe enough and you feel vulnerable enough to let them know what's going on, what your situation is, so you guys can start believing together and you guys can start spitting this stuff out in the atmosphere and then watching it come to pass. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to see things happen. I'm ready to see change happen. And change cannot happen if we do not believe, if we do not create the change that we want to see. It would never happen. All we have to do is have the faith the size of a mustard seed. It's hard going through this. I pray for my nieces and I pray for my sister-in-law, because I was once there when my father was laying there. Let me tell you something. My father had a stroke and that took him out. And the enemy is trying to take my brother out the same way, but we're saying it is not so. We know that he's going to come through this. There's no doubt in my mind When you start putting stuff out there in the atmosphere, my brother was known for putting stuff out there in the atmosphere. He was known for what he does in his ministry. He's known for doing a lot of things in ministry. He's known for tearing down walls and tearing down whatever it is that the enemy is trying to bring his way. And that's what he was doing before this happened. He was getting ready to tap into some stuff. And then the enemy tried to shut his mouth. I don't know if you're an unbeliever, you may not want to watch my channel. And it's okay. You can go ahead and unsubscribe from me. And I promise you I'm okay with that. But I'm telling you, the enemy tried to shut him up because there were some things that were going to come out of his mouth that the world did not agree with. But we came together as a family and start speaking over his life. Because the same word that he give us, the same word that my brother poured over my family, that he poured over his family, that he poured over my sister family, we're giving that word back to him. I'm telling you, the next time that I come on here, I'm going to have another testimony because I'm telling you that the power of manifestation, what we say shall come to pass. If you don't want to hear about the Bible, you don't want to hear about the Lord, then this is not the channel for you. Go ahead and dismiss yourself, or you can come back when I'm talking about something else. But this right here is very important to me because I have seen people, and we haven't even gotten through January yet, and people are already going through stuff. The enemy have already tried to attack the mind of different people. Because he knows that if he can get you, if he can get your mind, he has everything else. So that's why you can't sit back and be shut up. You can't sit back and be isolated. That's why you have to get up and open your mouth and speak those things out there in the atmosphere. Because it's time for you to shut some stuff down that the enemy is trying to place into your life. It's time for us to get our power back. We're so scary. Some of us don't want to speak stuff out because we're scared of what'll come out from it. We're scared of that. So we don't want to speak it. We're scared to put stuff out there in the atmosphere. We're scared that it may not come true. We're scared that it may come true. We're scared of what other people are going to say. And let me tell you something. Some stuff doesn't come true because we're not ready yet. We're waiting and we're sitting here. We're waiting on people. We're waiting on other people to come and do whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing. Some of us are not ready for what we're asking for. And that's why it haven't came to pass yet. It have not come to pass because we are not yet ready. We're still out here doing everything else that we're not supposed to be doing. So, of course, he's not going to give us whatever it is that we're asking for. You're asking for more money, but you can't handle the money that you got now. You asking God to come in and enlarge your territory, but what are you doing with what you have right now? You want a bigger house, but you're not even cleaning up the little house that he gave you. You're not being a good steward over the things that he has already given you. So why would he give you more? Why would he give you extra when you're stingy with the little? Be very mindful and very careful of what you're asking. Be specific in what you're asking, but be very careful. You know the saying, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you're asking for. Be careful what you're putting out there in the atmosphere. Because not everybody can handle what they're putting out there. So yes, he may say, no, you're not ready for that yet. It's not time for you to have that yet. There's some more grooming and pruning that I have to do before I give that to you. You're too immature for that. You need to grow up before I hand that to you. And that's why some of us are not where we're supposed to be. That's why some of us are still sitting here and waiting and crying and depressed because we're thinking that he's already supposed to hand it over to us, just give it to us. And he's saying, you're not ready yet. I can't give this to you because if I give it to you, it's possible that you will mess up your life. It's possible that you will ruin everything if I give you exactly what you're asking for right now and you're not ready. So go back and think about the things that you're asking for and you have not yet received because it may be a reason why you haven't received that yet. It may be some pruning that he still needs to do before he actually release it to you. There may still be some evilness in you, some stinginess in you, some greed in you, some jealousy in you. There may be something in you that needs to change before he release whatever it is that you're asking for. But I'm telling you, before you ask, get into your word. Pray about it. Ask God, what is it that I need to change about me before I come to you like this, begging and asking you for stuff? What is it that I need to change? What change do you need to see in me before you give me what I'm asking for? Because I may not be ready and I don't want you to give it to me and I'm not ready and it could possibly destroy everything in me. I don't want to lose my mind because you gave me what I asked for and I was not able to handle it. I was too immature to handle what you have given me. I'm telling you. Yes, my brother is in the hospital right now, but he's coming out. And he's coming out stronger than he's ever been. And I'm fighting right there with him. Get you some people that'll fight for you when things go wrong, when things go bad. Who's in your circle that will fight for you when all hell break loose? Who in your circle that will fight for you when you're weak and you can't speak, you can't say anything? Who's that person that will lift up your hands every time you put them down? They lift them back up. Who is that person? If you can identify that person around you, then you need to get you a new group of friends. You need to distance yourself from that family member if they're not able to be there for you when all hell break loose. If they're not able to speak into your life when all hell break loose. If they're going to be there on a pity party with you, if they're going to be there siding with you, if they're going to be there saying whatever the doctor is saying, remove them. Because I need somebody that's going to speak life into me. I need somebody that knows who I am, that knows my affirmations that I'm putting out there every day. So when I can't speak them, they come up behind me and they start speaking it. If you don't have that, you need to find it. Because sometimes we can't do this by ourselves. You need someone to be there for you. You need someone that you don't have to call them and say pray, or you don't have to call them and empty out your heart. They can already feel you because they discern that you need them. If you don't have that, then you're in the wrong group. This is not the time. This is not the year for you to be hanging with anybody. This is not the time. Be very specific about who's around you, who's eating at your table. Be very specific about who you're on the phone with, who you're telling your business to. You need somebody there that is able to start doing those I believes with you. I believe you're healed. I believe you're delivered. I believe that you're set free. I believe that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I believe that this is your season. I believe that you're coming out of this. I believe that you won't go through surgery. I believe that you will have your memory. Who around you is able to speak those things over your life when you can't? Who's able to go past what they're seeing and believe that you're coming out? Don't let what you see hinder what you believe. I had to come on here and do another thing when it came to speaking stuff out there in the atmosphere, because the enemy, life hit me so hard right after the last podcast. And I really feel like the devil felt like that I was going to stop after then. And I wanted to, because I'm like, what's going on? Why in the world, when I speak stuff out there in the atmosphere, why is it turning around the other way? Don't let what you see hinder what you believe, because I'm telling you, I know for a fact that when you put stuff out there in the atmosphere, it has to line up. My brother's body is already lining up. They have taken out every tube that they have put inside of him. They have removed it. He's talking. Today, they gave him applesauce to see if he was able to swallow, and he swallowed. See, we take things for granted because we swallow every day. He was able to swallow applesauce. And they said, we're going to see what he do for lunch. Now he's sitting up. Everything that we said in our affirmations, everything that we put out there in the atmosphere is happening right now in my brother's life. I refuse to allow anybody to come to me with negativity concerning my brother's health, concerning my life, my children's life, my husband's life, my mom's life. I refuse. If you're not on what I'm on, then step aside. When my brother was talking to me, he said, you either with me or you not. I got work to do. And they either going to be with me or they're not. You make sure whoever is around you, that they're with you. And they're with you for real. And they're able to pull you up. Even when it looks ugly. Even when all hell is breaking loose. They're with you. Building you up. Making sure that you don't fall. I'm telling you, it works. The power of manifestation works. Open your mouth and start speaking it. And watch how things line up. Don't let what you see hinder what you believe. I love you guys. And I hope everything that I've said tonight, I hope it has pierced your heart. And I hope it has made you get your pen and your paper and start writing down some stuff that you're able to speak out there in the atmosphere. And I want you guys to comment below and let me know what you have put out there in the atmosphere, because I'm going to believe God with you. I'm going to believe that whatever it is going to happen. Let me know that you done put stuff out there in the atmosphere and you have saw the change. You have seen things line up. I love you. And I hope that you guys have a great night going forward. I'm going to keep these podcasts coming no matter what, because I'm not going to let what I see hinder what I believe.